Welcome to CoinSpice Live. I'm your host, Peter Ryan. CoinSpice is your home for spicy crypto things on the internet, and in this show, we bring you the latest and greatest. Tonight, we got an awesome show. We're talking about the Bitcoin Cash fork anniversary. We're going to be playing some clips, getting some context, explaining what exactly the fork was, what the history behind it is, what are the mechanics, and we got some really cool people to talk about that. Before we jump into that, I just want to remind you, well, number one, can I get the chat to throw some peppers? Let me see the chat a little active. Can I see how you guys are doing tonight? Number one. Number two, if you have not already, please subscribe down below. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Telegram, and catch the latest articles that we're doing at coinspice.io. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our shirt store. We got some really cool shirts over there. So let's jump into it with a little opener on what the Bitcoin Cash fork was. All right, so that was a little taste for you. Anybody that's a little new to the scene maybe needs a little refresher what was going on. But let's just break down the fork a little bit. There were two sides. There was a scaling debate. Bitcoin was created way back in the day in order to bring free, global, cheap, instant money to the world that no one controlled. Getting into it, there was success, there were failures, but the movement was small and it was growing. Later down the road, how exactly you grow that from the technology point of view came to the forefront in terms of big blocks, small blocks. Those different choices that people made ultimately led to transaction fees going up or going down, basically because you have supply and demand. Transactions need to move through the blockchain. They have to fit in an individual block. And the smaller the block, the less amount of transactions. Thus, if there's not a lot of supply to go around, that means the price has got to go up to actually allocate resources effectively. Econ 101. So then you got some people talking about a solution with bigger blocks, open up the supply, can lower the prices. Things are solid. We can keep moving on, keeping with that cheap, instant mission that everybody signed up for in the beginning. Then debates got more and more contentious. People decided to go one way or the other, and ultimately Bitcoin got stagnated in that the blocks were unable to actually grow to the necessary demand that was there. So getting back out of it, some people got together. They thought they had a way around it. They decided to fork the popular Bitcoin at the time and created Bitcoin Cash August 1st, 2017. This happened 2 years ago. Again, almost had to start small from square one, but then slowly but surely started climbing, got more people involved, got more adopters, And 2 years later, here we are, and there are businesses, there are exchanges, there are just a awesome, amazing community that are supporting this coin. So lots has gone on, and now that we're at this point, a lot of people are seeing that original mission and the original ideas and applications that were thought to be developed and wanting to be developed back then are actually getting developed now. So that's my little spiel for you on what the Bitcoin Cash fork is. I'm going to now play for you another little clip of somebody that was there, very intimately involved. It is the CEO of Hyperblock, Sean Walsh. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what the fork was, why it was happening, and laying for you a little bit of the dynamics out. So here we go.
Bitcoin was promoted to the world as a new form of money that offered three primary things. The first thing is a way to transfer value over the internet quickly, easily, and inexpensively, very inexpensively, relative to the pre-existing means with which you could do that. And there was a great deal of technical squabbling, a civil war even, if you will, that raged with increasing volume and turbulence starting in maybe 2014 and reached a crescendo in 2017, August of 2017, when the Bitcoin network split into Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash over this sort of technical detail related to whether Bitcoin could deliver on the promises that I just described. And one group felt that there was one technical solution that would be ready sometime in the future that would deliver on that promise, and the second group felt that there was something that could be changed immediately to deliver on that promise. And what happened was we launched Bitcoin Cash to deliver on the promise today so that transactions could remain fast and easy and inexpensive. That was in August of 2017, and then on the Bitcoin Core network in the months that followed, as more and more and more of the mainstream population around the world became aware of and interested in testing out Bitcoin, they used Bitcoin Core. Bitcoin Core reached its transaction throughput capacity, and so transactions ceased to be inexpensive. They ceased to be fast. They ceased to be easy.
All right, and we're back. So that was Sean Walsh, CEO of Hyperblock. They are a company that does a lot of different things. Mostly they're into mining. They sell hardware. They do some stuff. Check them out. That was a clip from Risky Percent's Blockchain. It's a docu-series on Amazon Prime. Make sure you go check that out as well. And yeah, that was an interesting take. Definitely somebody that was not just an observer, third party on the sidelines, but someone that was intimately involved in checking things out. So yeah, great to have him on to talk about that. What I want to jump to next is making sure you guys know about our guy over here, Mr. C. Edward Kelso, the editor-in-chief of CoinSpice. He did a great article today talking about the Independence Day Bitcoin Cash at the 2-year mark. I encourage everybody to take the time, read into it, see what his thoughts are, how he looks into it from his point of view, going through the retrospective. And I think this is great that he ends on right here. Merchant adoption continues apace in 2019, and conferences are starting up again with renewed focus and energy. Meetups are growing around the world, for the time being at least. The salon debates, the exhausting lectures, and endless social media battles are over. Bitcoin Cash is here, an ecosystem fixture. Its community is vibrant and strong, and all that is left to do is become peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. Gotta give it to Kelso. He knows how to write, guys. He knows what to do there. So definitely go check this whole article out on CoinSpice. Please definitely do. And while you're at it, Kelso's not just writing articles, he's doing amazing podcasts. He got Vin Armani, Amari Sachet, Akani, Ethelthorpe, Cardona, all on to talk about what their perspectives are when it comes to the Bitcoin Cash fork. It was a fantastic podcast. They go through what was happening at the time, what they're thinking about presently, and what they hope for the future. Please, you can check it out on all these platforms here, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, whatever your podcast listening preferences, go check that out. And as always, check out the rest of what CoinSpice has to offer. So the fork also presents a lot of acrimony with certain tribes within crypto. Even though it does seem there's a lot of love, there's a lot of positive energy about building in Bitcoin Cash, there seems to be some negative attraction that people just have to it, that no other cryptocurrency can match. So we're going to look at a little bit of what some Twitter personalities have to say about that. So let's check that out. So here we are, going back over here. So first off, we're gonna start with Jimmy Song, everyone's favorite cowboy. Because why aren't there cowboys in 2019 that are in software and decentralized cryptography? I mean, come on. So he says, August 1st, the day we remember that method of payment isn't a killer feature for Bitcoin. Merchant adoption is expensive to subsidize. Getting people to hold is easier, but only if the asset is decentralized. So what is he saying here? He's saying that the method of payment isn't a killer feature of Bitcoin. Can you imagine someone saying that, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012, going all the way back, whenever you may have first gotten into it? The entire impetus of this movement was to give money to the world, to give a way to transfer value that no one could censor, that was not only super inexpensive, but also super fast, so that you weren't waiting days, you weren't waiting weeks, and you weren't waiting who knows how long, which ended up happening when the blocks got full on BTC. You ended up seeing week-long confirmation times. You ended up seeing the all-time high was about over $50 a transaction. So yeah, the method of payment didn't work because the people designing BTC didn't know how to make it work or didn't do the things to make it work. But in Bitcoin Cash, as we've discussed, certain design decisions were made that were different, and actually it enables all the functionality that everyone thought in the beginning. And so the method of payment actually does work on BCH. There's no way for it to become expensive because the blocks will rise. There's no way for it to become slow because there's plenty of space. And it will remain decentralized and censorship resistant because it does have the global community of miners contributing hash rate and contributing their services to make sure this blockchain powers, and no centralized party can actually shut it down. And there's even more diversity in the node implementations for all the hype around running nodes in the BTC community. There's more diversity in the BCH node implementation camp than on BTC. So that's Jimmy Song, everyone's favorite cowboy, because why aren't there more cowboys in crypto? Now let's move on to another salty man, Brad Mills. He currently is rocking that Harry Potter look because why not? Again, we got Harry Potter and we got a cowboy. These are the people of BTC, folks. So we got happy user activated soft fork day. 2 years ago, Bitcoiners prevailed over shitcoiner interests. Corporations and the crypto elite who built their war chest, mostly leeching value from Bitcoin, tried to take over Bitcoin. Node 2x hardened Bitcoin as decentralized money. Do you remember Node 2x, user activated soft fork? And then he goes into this poll here. Not much to be gained from looking at that, but this is a mentality that pervades crypto in general, and Bitcoiners especially. That there was this sort of coup attempt. There was this, big business tried to control Bitcoin, and it was the little guy, the user activated soft fork Anon hats running around that saved the day. And every little hat voiced their populist cry on one day in one voice and shouted, no. That's not exactly what happened. What happened was no one actually got on board with some of this stuff. No one really was caring too much. And I think that's best shown by what people were actually enabling when it came to SegWit. So for anyone that doesn't know, there's a great chart out there that talks about this, that talks about SegWit adoption, and it showed that only about 5 to 10% fluctuating of users actually enabled SegWit. And it took an additional, 6-8 months to a year for it to even get to like 30%, 40% of BTC users. And it's only really recently started to come up to around 60 and 70%, getting in that range. And so this idea that the counter to BCH was BTC enabled through SegWit, and BTC that perhaps had a modest block size increase, even though SegWit is a effective block size increase as well. That SegWit was the little guy, and for whatever reason, people trying to raise the block size and people that were moving to Bitcoin Cash were seen as not. Even though, again, it's very obvious that not a lot of users actually got on board with SegWit, shown by the data, and a lot of the early Bitcoin people, qualitatively, felt that they were the ones that were sort of finding their way and stumbling their way into the BCH camp, rather than stick around what seemed like a BTC that was moving closer and closer to their final form, which became the institutionalist coming, decrepit, devolved, corporate, 1% teat sucking, betas. So that is what happened with BTC, and how you still have these salty folks in Harry Potter costumes when it's not Halloween talking about how they're still salty about Bitcoin Cash and how they thought they won the day. But anyway, that's what's going on with some of those folks. Thank you for the spice. Add 'em back with the spice, everybody. And we got some great donations going on if you want to actually use Bitcoin like it was meant to be used, because, hey, the fees are low and the confirmation times are fast. Hit us up at our link that's scrolling below. You can find in the description. Throw us a little tips. You can throw us some BCH. You can throw us some spice. Everybody likes spice, so everybody go try that. Use Bitcoin as it's meant to be used. So now we're going to move on, and we had sort of the brief overview of what the fork was in the beginning. We had an expert that was there in the weeds go over how it happened. And now I'm going to come to you, not right now, but in a different time, in a different place. I'm going to come to you in a clip, and I'm going to explain to you maybe an analogy that helps communicate some of the concepts behind what a fork is, especially when it concerns sort of the general principle of open source software. So let's roll that. Analogy I like to use is pizza. Like, pizza is all over the place. There's like tons of pizzerias. You know, I can go to Lombardi's down the street. I can go uptown. Analogy I like to use is pizza. Like, pizza is all over the place. There's like tons of pizzerias. You know, I can go to Lombardi's down the street. I can go uptown. I can go to Joe's Pizza. You have all these different places saying, we serve pizza, we have the authentic pizza, but no one actually owns or has the official right to say we are the pizza. No one else can say they are the pizza. There are common, you know, ingredients to a pizza and shapes to it that we all recognize, that you need dough, sauce, cheese. It needs to be round. And so you can start seeing there is a consistency there, but even that breaks down to a degree when you start to have square pizza, when you start to have pizza without sauce, pizza without cheese, or ingredients and toppings that should never go on a pizza that are there, but one shop does it. So all these things are experimenting with pizza, yet they are still all pizza. And so similarly with all these different, you know, Bitcoins that are out there, nobody actually has the official right to say what is Bitcoin. There is only the ability of those purporting to be Bitcoin to say they're Bitcoin, and others to infer what exactly they believe is the true and authentic Bitcoin. And even when you expand outside of Bitcoin to every cryptocurrency, they are all blockchains. They're all cryptocurrencies. They are all parts of this. Some of them have sardines and pineapples on them, and some are just the plain cheese, tomato sauce, and bread. All right, guys. So that was the pizza analogy. That was explaining Forex through pizza. It's a favorite analogy of mine. I use it quite a bit. I annoy people quite a bit with it. And spicy pizza, best pizza. Thank you, Captain, for donating that. I think it's, you know, no analogy is perfect, but I think it gets the job done in trying to get out there that these things are part of what we have a consensus about, in terms of not just the technical aspects of, you know, you run certain specs in your software, you sync up with certain nodes or others. And while that's important, there's the social side, there's the you know, cultural side that brings all this together. And without that, you don't really have you know, a clear movement, a clear agenda, a clear community. And so what pizza does, it's sort of like, it's a simple thing everyone gets, and everyone knows that there's no one pizza. Everyone knows Pizza Hut does not have a trademark or a patent on the pizza. Everyone knows Domino's can't go start suing, you know, Papa John's because they're infringing on the original vision of some Sicilian chef 100 years ago. And in fact, no one actually knows who invented pizza. So there's almost a interesting similarity there between Satoshi and that inventor of pizza. So we have all those things swirling around, and pizza just gives us this kind of nice platform to talk about how, yes, there can be great chains that have tons of market share, that are big in market cap and big in users and customers, but there can also be really, really great, authentic, good ingredients, heirloom tomatoes, you know, organic grass-fed mozzarella cheese, you know, fermented sourdough, not that quick rise yeast stuff. All that stuff actually makes pizza what a lot of people think it's supposed to be. And it doesn't have to be a big, fast chain. It doesn't have to be filled with artificial ingredients that will, you know, give you diabetes and give you heart attacks. It can be what it was supposed to be, what it was dreamed of in Italy all those years ago. So that's the pizza analogy. That's what I like to do. What I want to go to next, guys, we're going to pop over here. We're going to go back. Look, we're on Twitter, everybody. And I'm going to post this right now. Everyone, please go to my Twitter, at _ Peter Ryan. What's the best thing about BCH right now? Please comment on that. I'm going to read it later. I want to know what your stories are. I want to know what you think is the best thing. Is the community, is the developers? Is it one application that you're using that's like really, really awesome? Is it a person that you look up to? Is it a company? Is it an exchange? Whatever you want it to be. Comment there at _ Peter Ryan. You can find my profile right here. Comment right there. Make sure you do that, folks. And I'll read your comments at the end as well as in the YouTube chat. So please share your story, because that's what we do here. Next up, folks, what I want to do is bring you an all-star. We had Vin Armani, founder of Cointext, CTO of Cointext, and Counter Markets. And on last show, on Tuesday, he recorded a little extra for us to talk about what his take on the Bitcoin Cash fork is, the past, the present, the future, what's going on. So let's sit back, let's relax, and let's check in on Vin.
So here we are, 2 years into Bitcoin Cash, 2 forks on, and now we're really moving along. We've got great momentum. I think that Bitcoin Cash has all of the ingredients to be a very, very important force for good, and I think to bring a lot of people financial sovereignty. I think that we do have some challenges coming up, but we have all around, from development to media to evangelism to really just the people who are getting involved and interested, exchanges, businesses popping up. We have all of the ingredients, and we have a staff to be able to do all of the things that we need to do to move this thing forward. I think that one of the challenges that we're going to have, and that all of the coins are going to have, is going to be increasing adoption in the coming years. We're not going to have this boom of novelty that we've had in the past unless we actually push for it. And so what that's going to mean is it's going to mean we're going to have to find new uses for Bitcoin that are appealing to no-coiners. And now, luckily, there is a lot left to learn about Bitcoin, but it's going to take us digging in, asking what is Bitcoin, asking what is it that the market wants, what problems can Bitcoin solve? That's the most important thing. And then going about solving those problems. And if we can be the best solution that's available, there's no doubt that Bitcoin Cash is going to be picked up and used by millions of new people. And that's indeed what's going to make the number go up. So we've got all of the pieces. Now it's just up to us to take one step and put one foot in front of the other and move down that path. I think we're going to do it, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys, that was Vin. Give him some love. Show him some love in the chat. Looks like we got some love in the chat already. Definitely go follow all his projects, Cointext, Counter Markets. Not only follow them, but use them. And it's not even that hard to use, because Cointext is like the easiest app in crypto to use, probably, especially when it comes to onboarding new users. Give it a try. Give it a try with a buddy who's not into Bitcoin. See what he says. So yeah, guys, what do you think of Vin's points? What do you think of the Bitcoin Cash fork? Throw it in the chat. Go to my Twitter post, comment along, and let's go check some of that out. Let's go check some of that out, guys. All right, and thank you for all the donations. We love when people use Bitcoin. It's the best. It's the best. So here we go. Let's jump on over, folks. All right, so let's give a little reload. What's the best thing about Bitcoin Cash right now? All right. Vin Armani coming up to the plate. You just saw him. You can't get away from him. CoinSpice, very nice. Very nice indeed. We got Mike Malley coming in, other than carrying on the Bitcoin project after the failure of the New York agreement, coupled with the corruption of Bitcoin Core and Blockstream. The memes, probably. I have to agree. I think if you get the average BTCer in a room, alone, quiet, windows shut, they will admit to you. This has happened to me on many occasions. They will admit to you, Bitcoin Cash has the best memes. Next up, Kyle Kinney, peer-to-peer cash, now and always. Very true, man. Very true. Very true. Liking away. Again, please share your story. Jump on that tweet. Send the love. Oh, we got Captain Cook coming in. BIP 70. Yes, we all love some BIP 70. Everyone Google that, BIP 70, or search it on Twitter. Might have something to do with this guy down here. Check it out. See what it has to offer. Definitely get into that. Let's see what you guys are up to in the chat. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. More usage of Bitcoin. More usage of Bitcoin. All right, guys. So what do we got? What everyone think? We thought Vin is chiseled mind and body by Mike. I can't disagree with that perspective. What else we got here? By Colin, BCH is for everyone, even our trolls. Yes. The true sign of a great app is when even the people that hate the app use it. So that is awesome. Who else we got in here? We got Mr. Ed Kelso saying, Vin Armani showing off again. Yes, he is, folks. Yes, he is. We got people loving some pizza in the chat. That guy Kyle says, can we tip pizza tokens? That'd be great. If anybody wants to do a pizza token, I might jump on that. I might not sleep tonight. That might be a project somebody just piqued me on. All right. So we got, going back a little bit too, I'm going back in the chat a bit, talking about when on Twitter with those salty boys, Jimmy redefining buzzwords again, Captain Cook. Oh, of course. Another UX539, Jimmy Song is a coward, will always remember how he chickened on that bot trip. I think he meant boat trip, maybe? The famous boat trip where Jimmy couldn't do a one-on-one debate with Mr. Roger Ver. Poor Jimmy. Guess they didn't teach him that one in the rodeo. Better yet, from that guy Kyle, can we tip with CoinSpice honks? Oh, a merger perhaps on the horizon. Honks and CoinSpice. Who knows? CoinSpice already initial pizza offered, bruh, by Mike. All these tokens are available on SLP, on Bitcoin Cash. We can make them all and see what the market decides. So yeah, let's see what's going on back in that Twitter post. Any other stories, guys? Go to it, comment away. We're reading them. We're seeing what's happening. Let's go back. Any more? Oh, look at that, Peter Ryan. That is so kind of you guys. So moving back, guys. So what did we talk about tonight? We talked about the Bitcoin Cash fork. It happened 2 years ago. Lots of progress going on. Definitely go check out Kelso's article on CoinSpice, and definitely go check out his podcast where he interviewed Amari Sachet, of course, Vin Armani, Gabrielle Cardona, and much more, to talk about their perspectives on where the fork was, how they got into it, how it transpired, and where we are now and where we're moving forward. Get really great insight. You can't get it anywhere else than that. So check that out. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Make sure to follow us on Telegram. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below. And check out Risky Presents Blockchain. We showed a few clips from that. We showed the CEO of Hyperblock, Sean Walsh, talking about his perspective on what the fork was. You can find that in episode 1 of the documentary on Amazon, and he goes into much more detail in the full episode, and you can see what his company's up to. Also, I gave in episode 6 of that show that little spiel about pizza. If you want to see my further comments and how I went back and forth with Mr. Krista Rose, who was also in that episode, and we had a great time talking about the dynamics of the crypto industry. Definitely go check out that documentary. Really good, Amazon Prime. Also, I know on our last show we were supposed to have a guest, and he was unfortunately unable to make it, but he said he could do it this time. So now I want to bring to the show for the first time Mr. Okay, so I'm getting word now. It's static. Hold on. So Justin can't attend again. He's currently lost in a tropical jungle with Arthur Hayes, and they can't find their way out. Okay, so unfortunately Justin cannot join us this week. We tried. Hopefully we can have him in the future. He's a busy man, and he has a lot of obligations, and we're pulling for him. Just had that very, very serious bout of the stones of kidney, and now he's lost with Arthur Hayes in the jungle, unfortunately. Well, too bad. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you hit us up on Telegram, where you find spicy crypto things on the internet. Thanks again. I'm Peter Ryan. Make sure to use Bitcoin Cash. See you later.